What can I do to be safe against coronavirus?
Oh yes, very topical. Yeah, now that's for me. I hate to say this, we love coronavirus because my day job is trying to understand this and keep me in a living for a while. Well, it's a strange one. This a brand new virus. Now, of course, when a new virus emerged, I was in Rotterdam last week at a conference with a world expert on coronaviruses.
Oh,
it was
wow.
fantastic, and he was telling me all about it. Now, SARS was the previous one. Remember SARS? A few years.
Was that from China too?
2003. Yep, that was 2003. There was MERS from the Middle East. That was a similar family. So, and they've looked at these closely. And this is a new one. Now, if it's new, you got to be alert because maybe it could be dangerous and be more damaging. So far, it doesn't seem to be. I mean, it is causing a certain amount of fatalities. The numbers are still tiny, though. Okay? Every day in the news, 500 have died. Sure, thousands are dying by falling down the stairs in China every day. It's very strange how we're now obsessing. And there's politics here to dig in economically to the Chinese, partly, But it's like any respiratory disease. So it's like flu. Flu is much more dangerous, by the way, at the moment. Although there is one concern that there's a higher fatality rate at the moment in the coronavirus outbreak than regular flu. It looks like slightly more damaging. But the people who are dying are inclined to be older people who've got other diseases, you see, and their immune systems don't work properly, I suppose, because they're older. So, but in general terms, most people, if they get infected, they'll fight the infection and get better. So nothing to worry about here at the moment for definite, you see. But then if you're a virologist, you got to look at it because it could mutate and get more virulent. It's unlikely, very unlikely, but still there's a risk of that maybe. And until we see it in millions of people, say, you can't predict the full damage it might do. But at the moment, it's not really a concern. And the World Health Organization are criticizing countries now, saying, don't be attacking the Chinese here. You're stopping them traveling. That's not really, acceptable in a way. So at the moment, it's one to watch, but it's not a huge concern.
I lived in Korea for a while, and every time you went into the school, you would use this alcohol thing on your hands. People wear surgical masks. And I had read before that you're killing the good bacteria, and therefore you're sterilizing the whole lot.
Yeah.
But that's
that's a good one. I mean, there's one big question if you're an immunologist as well, among the many questions. These autoimmune diseases are on the rise. The incidence is growing. And a good example is asthma. That really has gone up a lot in the last, say, 30, 40 years in people.
Really? And
it's a common disease now in schools. There'll be kids in the class with asthma. And that wasn't the case 30, 40 years ago. Like our dad's generation, they didn't see much asthma, strangely. There were some cases. But so why is that? And colitis is going up. They're all on the increase. So something's happening in the environment. And the best bet is we're too clean. So if you don't expose a baby, especially actually children, to dirt occasionally, the immune system doesn't learn, and it's like any other education. The immune system has to tell friend from foe. If it never sees the foe, it might start to react on you, So in other words, we think it's to do with education of the immune system. So a bit of dirt is good. Now, I'm not talking about serious dirt. I'm talking about go and play in the garden or eat soil. There's studies where they've given kids little bits of soil,
right,
and that will protect them against asthma later in their lives. It's amazing.
Wouldn't that contain potentially bits of feces?
That's the worry would be dog feces, not great.
Okay,
but it turns out being on a farm is great. And it's regular cow dung, I suppose. Farm animals, their dung or whatever, little bits of bacteria go into your system and then trains the immune system, you see. So it's a very active area. It's called the hygiene hypothesis, because being too clean then is bad. So if you spray all the surfaces and you're using all these things, no, don't do that. Now, clearly, if you're older and you're in your 70s and you might get exposed to a virus, then you might wipe surfaces for that person. But if you're a regular, healthy individual, you don't need to be wiping surfaces. It's over the top,